What's going on, y'all? Machiavelli Mills TV. So look, y'all. I'm just sitting here thinking about all the madness and craziness that happens amongst the youth in Chicago, and I it all traces back to me to the pride and ego of a man, right? And as men in society, we have to be in control of our ego and our pride, keep it in check when necessary. Because if we don't, things can go haywire, and either we could get hurt or the people around us could get hurt in a way that I think could have us traumatized beyond our belief, right? And so I always, when I think about growing up here in the city, I feel like I always had to be in control of my pride and my ego. Sometimes it gets the best of men. And having pride can be a very good thing, right? When you have a lot of pride, you won't do a half job on anything that you're doing. You take care of yourself, you take care of your responsibilities, you take care of whatever you got to do because your name is attached to it and you care about how your name is represented in a lot of different facets, right? However, when you're too prideful, you don't recognize when your ego is getting too big for your britches and you really like putting yourself or people that you love in harm's way, right? And I think that's really what's going on with a lot of the youth. A lot of the youth in Chicago, nobody want to seem like they getting punked by the other individual. In our city, we call it getting hoed. I'm sorry for lack of better terms or whatever, lack of better words, but that's what we call it in Chicago. Nobody want to get hoed per se, right? So nobody wants to cower to the next man. I've seen instances where a person may have stepped on a brother's shoe, right? And before the brother could say excuse me, the other brother is snapping, going off, calling him all out of his name, talking crazy. So at this point, the brother that probably was going to say excuse me, now his pride is being damaged and his pride is taking blows because you calling him all out of his name, calling him all different type of words. And now instead of saying excuse me, he goes and resorts to violence to respond, or maybe he responds in a hostile way back, and then violence basically occurs, and then we get to a point of no return at that point in the situation, right? And I've seen instances where maybe somebody said something in a way that was probably like it wasn't really that serious. It may have been a joke, right? But because that person was in front of a girl or a certain crowd of people were around, and the person probably normally says this to a person or just jokes, but when a person sees that a crowd is around, they don't want to be looked at as, oh, I don't want to look like I got clowned. I don't want to look like I got belittled. I don't want to look like I'm somebody punk. So they go and take it to the most extreme level, and then now something crazy is popping off. Also, too, checking your pride is also knowing when not to talk to somebody crazy, just because you think you big, bad, and tough. Man, I remember an incident. And my father is like my father. For those, y'all don't know my dad. My father is one of the most masculine men I've ever met in my life. Right, my father has a lot of pride. Has an ego, right? At times, right? A lot of pride, prideful man. A man's man in every sense of the word. He worked with his hands for his whole life. Can put stuff together, can take things apart, can do a whole lot of different things. But I remember this one instance where my father, we were leaving Burger King. This was like by 87 and a Dan Ryan, for those living in Chicago. Burger King was right off 87th Street at the time. But yeah, Burger King was right there. My father is pulling out a Burger King, and another car is almost about to collide with him. So my dad and the guy going back and forth, and then my dad stopped himself, and he just stopped talking. He stopped talking. He just kept driving, kept going about his business, and he looked at me and said, "You know what? I had to check myself and stop going back and forth with that dude because I don't know what he got in the car with him, and I got you, my son, in the car." He talking about me. He said, "I got you, my son, in the car. What if he was crazy and could have just started shooting up the car because he's so mad and pissed at us having this exchange back and forth?" And he had to check his pride at that point. And he knew I can't let my pride get my son in any type of danger. And that was the thing, man. And from that instance, man, I probably was maybe 11 or 12 at that time when it happened, maybe. And I saw him do that, and I said, man, my father really, really understands life and how sometimes you got to look at the bigger picture and let stuff go and walk away from it because it ain't worth it. I remember one time I'm on the red line. I'm on the train coming home from work. I'm maybe at this point 20. I'm like 24 years old. I'm on the train, red line. Y'all know on the red line, the train get real, real rocky. Rocky. You got to hold on to the rails. And sometimes when you hold on to the rails, it ain't enough because sometimes the train can be so jerky, you can just jerk and make a little sudden movement. So the train jerks one day. I accidentally step on a brother's shoe. And that's the step on the shoe type of stuff, right? I step on a brother's shoe and I say, excuse me. I look at the brother, I could tell he a little off. Something like, he one of these little shorties that, not shorties, he was grown. He was older than me. But I could tell he was a little off his rocker, a little deranged a little bit. He's sitting with a girl, his girlfriend, and he say, man, motherfuckers keep stepping on my shoes, man. This is crazy, right? And so, I could see, I already had said excuse me before he got that out. I could see something ain't right with dude. Like, dude energy, his whole vibe is off. His woman didn't even say anything. She just kind of looked and tried to look and pat his hand and turn her head. She know this motherfucker's off his rocker. Something ain't right with him. His mind ain't right. I could have been the same person, been like, hey man, I told your ass excuse. I could have did some wild shit like that and triggered some crazy mess, right? But in my mind, I'm looking at this dude like this brother ain't right. He ill. Something ain't going on with him. He looked like he had a weapon on him or something. I could have said something crazy, going back and forth with him or whatever, and then who knows? He could have pulled out a weapon and did something to me. I can't afford for none of my life to be in jeopardy or taken. I got a daughter. This is before my son was born. I got a daughter. I got a family. I ain't got time to be getting into no mess with something about stepping on a shoe. My mind was like, listen, I already said, excuse me, I'm going to go on about my day. And it was an older gentleman, right? He was probably like in his 60s, like mid 60s or late 60s. He seen me, I had my Kappa jacket, KA side, Kappa Alpha Psi jacket on. And when I first got on the train, before I stepped on the guy's shoe, before the situation with the guy, he said, oh, young man, where did you pledge Phi Nu Pi? Asked me whether I pledged Kappa. I told him. And then basically, he just nodded to say be smiled. We had a pleasant conversation, me and the elderly guy. Then after that, the situation with me stepping on the guy's shoe happened, right? And I remember, I didn't say anything to the guy, I let it go, whatever. And the older guy say, stay blessed, young brother. Stay positive, young brother. Stay a positive man. Stay a positive young man. And I felt like, man, that made me feel better about it, because I ain't gonna lie, it was a conflict in me. Even though I chose to take the high road, it was something in me too that felt like, damn, I don't like how he said that to me. Something in me really wanted to respond and say something. And I'm not a tough guy. I'm not a street dude by any stretch of the imagination. But something in me felt like, damn, I really wanted to say something to him. I wanted to really check dude, like, man, I said, excuse me, bro, I really wanted to do that, right? But in my mind, I thought about my safety for my child, my safety for my family, my safety for my lady that was with me, right? And for her safety as well. It's like, man, I had to think about all of that. But something burning inside of me really wanted me to respond. And then that older gentleman who looked at me and told me stay positive, they gave me the confirmation to let me know I did the right thing. By not being a young, hot-head, wild dude and responding ignorantly, that was the right thing for me to do, because some of these people are out of their mind. They already bewildered. They soulless people already. There's a lot of soulless little ignorant little dudes walking around the city. Soulless, without a care in the world, that don't have any type of respect for life, don't have any type of respect for any authority, don't got any type of regard for life at all. So with me knowing that, it was just best that I go ahead, put my pride and ego to the side, and kept it moving. You know what I mean? And I think that if a lot of young brothers, I ain't saying be like me, but I'm nothing like that at all, because I'm not perfect at all. I'm saying sometimes I think that a lot of situations in the city can be avoided if brothers can learn just to tuck their pride at times, right? Seen situations where a guy may have, maybe somebody, they got into a fight, a guy got the better of him. A guy got the better of another guy in a fight. And it was a certain crowd around, and because his pride was so damaged, her situation where guys went to go get guns. and either shot at somebody or shot and hit somebody and killed somebody because of it. And like I said, the pride, man, pride can come before the fall. The pride can be a great thing because it can help men stay on their square. They take care of their responsibilities because they know it's important to them. They care about how their name is represented. Like I said before, they want to make sure that they take pride in being a stand-up individual. So they stick to their principles and their values and their morals in order to carry out whatever they're trying to carry out, right? But pride can also be the detriment of a lot of men because they let it get the best of them. They let their pride mix with the ego, and it just makes their whole life either less prosperous or it takes them down a route they don't want to go. Even in relationships with women, man, I done seen pride get in the way of true love. A guy is so prideful, he don't want to admit that he was wrong. He don't want to take the fall for something that he did with the woman that he loves. And the next thing you know, the woman is gone and the brother is hurt, crying his eyes out at night because he could never just admit that he was wrong. It's another thing that I learned from my father, man. My father was never afraid to admit that he was wrong, even with his own children, with me, my sister, my brothers. He wasn't afraid to admit that he was wrong in situations. He wasn't afraid to admit that he was wrong to his wife. He wasn't afraid to admit that he was wrong to his mother, so on and so forth. Now, my dad can talk a little mess and all of that, and he can be, he can spew some vulgarity, some profanities, but at the end of the day, he can bring it full circle and say, you know what, I was wrong. I should have never carried that out that way. And, I could have handled that in a different way. And I always respected my father because he never let pride get in the way of damaging a relationship with somebody that he loves. And that's one thing I want the younger generation to realize, man. Sometimes you can't let your pride get in the way of damaging relationships with people you love, with a woman you love, or even with your own children. You know what I mean? That's just something that pride is something that we gotta just get up out of us, because that will lead to our downfall in a lot of different ways. A lot of men get killed because of their pride. A lot of men don't know when they're in a hectic situation, and it's a lose-lose, and then when they just gotta bow out gracefully, right? I've seen dudes, maybe they might be in a situation where they see a guy they into it with, and they know this guy's with a whole bunch of people, and they choose to go ahead and go try to attack a dude when he with a whole bunch of people, and it turned out terrible for him. I've seen men, pride, man, I'm telling you, I've seen guys who are too prideful when something crazy, like I said, when the odds are stacked against them, they too prideful to just say, you know what, I'm gonna go this way, I'm not gonna do that. Even navigating certain areas or neighborhoods, man, I'm not gonna go through this area where I may have some guys I got trouble with down this way. Some guys, man, F that, I'm going down here. They gonna have to just move out the way. They're gonna have to just know what it is. Walk into some trouble, and now they're either in a bad predicament, they're injured, or or worse, or they're in prison with behind some stuff because they couldn't just go the opposite direction. Their pride didn't let them go in the opposite direction, man. And I think about this too. We be committing violence against each other. That's some bullshit we don't even need to be engaged in anyway, with a lot of the stuff that's going on around the world with our people. But yeah, man, pride can really be the detriment of a lot of men. And we have, in order to navigate this world successfully, we have to keep our pride and our ego in check. In order to navigate this world successfully and to be prosperous in this world, we got to be able to keep it in check and to raise prominent leaders in our children. We got to know how to keep our ego in check to teach them the same things. That's just my thought process on it. I've been thinking a lot tonight, man. Machiavelli Mills TV, I'm out. Peace.